Hey everyone, and welcome. So imagine for a second that an entire country's economy was run like one gigantic company, with a single central office making all the important decisions. Well, that's pretty much the core idea behind a centrally planned economy. And today, we're going to dig into how this really ambitious system is supposed to work, who's actually calling the shots, and what kind of problems it's designed to solve.
So let's just jump right in with a really fundamental question. For any country, who gets to decide? Who decides what we make, how we get it to people, and who ultimately benefits from all of it? Now, there are a lot of different answers to that, but today we're focusing on what happens when the answer is really simple and singular: the government.
Okay, so what does it actually mean to have a planned economy? Let's get right to the core definition. At its heart, the name really gives it away. A centrally planned economy is a system where one central authority, and that's almost always the government, gets to be the master architect. It's their job to draw up the blueprints for pretty much all the important economic stuff happening in the nation.
So if the economy is one huge blueprint, who exactly is the architect? Let's pinpoint the real decision maker in this whole system. The answer is about as straightforward as it gets. It's the government. In a centrally planned economy, it's the state that takes on this monumental task of making all the key economic decisions, from what a factory produces all the way down to what a family can buy. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, the sheer scope of that control. We're not just talking about one or two areas here. The government's plan covers production, so what gets made and how much of it. It covers exchange, how all those goods and services are traded and moved around. And it covers consumption, who ultimately gets the final products. It is absolutely a top-to-bottom approach. Which, of course, brings up a huge question. Why would any society choose such a top-down system? I mean, it's a massive undertaking, so there have to be some pretty powerful reasons, right? Let's explore the why behind it all. In this quote from our source, it perfectly captures the whole philosophy. The goal is to get an allocation of resources that's considered desirable for society as a whole. The emphasis is completely on the collective good, not so much on individual wants or needs. But this isn't just some abstract ideal. In practice, the decision to move towards central planning is often a direct response to some very real, very specific problems a society is facing. It's seen as this powerful tool for tackling major challenges head-on. So take a look at this first example, essential services. The problem? Well, a society might find that really critical things like education or healthcare just aren't being produced enough to meet everyone's needs. So the solution, in this model, is for that central authority to just step in. They'll either start producing these services themselves, or they'll push others to do it, all to make sure everyone has access. And here's a second really powerful motivation: equitable distribution. I mean, the problem is stark. You could have some people with such a small piece of the economic pie that their very survival is at risk. The solution here? The central authority intervenes directly, trying to distribute goods and services in a way that it sees as more fair and more just. Okay, so let's pull all of this together. What are the key takeaways here? Number one, a central authority, almost always the government, is making all the key economic decisions. Two, this control is incredibly wide-ranging, covering production, exchange, and consumption. Three, the whole goal is to create outcomes that are seen as good for society as a whole. And four, this system is often put in place to tackle really big challenges, like providing essential services for everyone or making sure no one is left behind. And that leads us to our final thought. We've seen that the guiding principle is planning for the collective good. So the question I'm going to leave you with is this: when a single, central authority is making a plan for everyone, what's the trade-off? What's the other side of that coin? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.